Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. How are you today?
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
And
Hello,
you?
teacher.
Hello. I'm doing good. Thank you. All right, very good. Well, we still have some students missing from the session, but we need to start right away because we have many activities for today's class, okay, in this part. So let's start with our class number 5. Let me read the agenda with you. Let me share it, and then I will check the attendance. I will check the list with the students, okay? So first, we're going to do a little discussion. So you will write some expressions of emotion in Colombia, okay? So I will send you the link. You can answer there and participate. Then we're going to study the vocabulary from the reading in point in unit 2. So yesterday we didn't complete this reading. We are going to do it today on page 19. Okay, so we are going to check the vocabulary before reading. Then we are going to read the text and answer some questions about it. And finally, so to finish, I think we're about to finish unit 2. We're going to do the task, okay? We have a listening part and a speaking part. So let's see if we have enough time to complete all the activities that we have programmed for today. Okay, let's see, we have our students. So let me check the list. Okay, I will turn off my camera just for a moment. I will start checking the list. Okay, Gerson Arismendi.
Hi, teacher, present.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Jean-Claude. Yesil Calderon.
Present, teacher.
All right. Natalia Camargo.
Present, teacher.
Okay, Andrés Correa.
Present, teacher.
Thanks. Silvia Cuellar.
Present, teacher.
Right. Johan Duque. Elkin Fernández. Julián Figueroa.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Ginette Fontecha.
Present, teacher.
Carlos Galán.
Present, teacher.
Okay, thanks. Mabel Gamboa.
Present, teacher.
Okay, José Alejandro. And Lisette Tarazona.
Present, teacher.
Thank you. All right. Excellent, guys. Thank you. So now let's start and let's check here. So the activity for today, so the text that we're going to focus on today talks about different expressions of emotion that we can find around the world, okay? So the text is called Expressing Emotions Across the World. So before we read, and just to introduce this topic, we're going to participate in a little discussion or with a question, okay? I will send you the link for you to answer so you can participate. This is the link. All right, so the question is, how do people in Colombia express their emotions? either positively or negatively, okay? You can focus in one of two aspects. For example, we talk about emotions in any situation. For example, Colombians tend to be very affectionate, like you give hugs to people or you kiss on the cheek, right? Generally, we show our emotions or affection in this way, right? This is a positive emotion. Or when we are happy, what do we do? Do we laugh out loud very loudly, or do we scream, or whatever? Okay, so think about different expressions of emotions that we as Colombians have normally. They can be positive or they can be negative. Okay, so I want you to write a short answer, and please include your name on the answer so we can check them when we are reading, so I can check who wrote it. Okay, so how do people in Colombia express their emotions generally? You can go to the link. Okay, who connected after we check the attendance is Johan here. Is Johan connected? Yes, Elkin also. Jean-Claude. Jean-Claude is not connected. Jose Alejandro. Is connected. Jose. All right. Okay, we have one answer, but it's very short and it doesn't have a name. Remember the instruction. Include your name on the answer, please. Okay? Thank you, Jessit. Very good. Colombians express their emotions in a positive way when they are happy. But I need some to be more specific. So, for example, in different situations, when you have an accident on the car, what do you do? A small accident. Do you yell at people or are you calm? How do we normally react? So think about more specific situations in which Colombians can express their emotions either positively or negatively, right? Imagine birthday parties, graduations for positive things, or negative things like fighting with others, neighbors, I don't know, okay? So I want you to think of specific situations where Colombians might express their emotions in a positive or in a negative way, okay? Let's join the link. We are waiting for all of your answers. Okay, we have 4 answers. Oh, wait. Check here. Okay, I'll give you a couple more minutes and then we all share our ideas.
Teacher, I sent my answer, but I don't see in the screen. Okay.
Yes, it's,
Thank you, teacher.
I need to scroll down a little bit. Okay, I have 8 answers, 1 more minute for the rest of the students, and then we check them all together. Okay, so we have 10 answers. Okay, now 11 answers. Let's check quickly, all right? So we have, for example, Julian says, Colombian people are very passionate about with things like football, food, or coffee, okay? So, yes, we express like pride in these things in our culture, all right? Elkin says positive emotions through celebrations in various events throughout the year. Okay, cultural celebrations. Carlos says both positive and negative ways. Positive, so smiling, jumping, shouting. In problematic situations, it can be offensive, okay, or very angry easily, right? Okay, Natalia says when Colombians can express emotions easily. So when you are in love, they can hold hands, kissing and hugging. Okay, so we are very affectionate normally. All right, Silvia says that negative aspects, we tend to express their anger by swearing and aggressive actions. Yes, unfortunately, well, many people in Colombia are very like aggressive, I would say, with their attitude, words in general. This happens. Let's continue over here. So Andres says passionately and openly. Okay, carnivals, festivals. Oh, Lisette says that usually drinking, dancing, people can get violent because of alcohol and get into fights. Yes, this is also common here. Jeanette says they're very sentimental in situations like when the football team is playing or someone has a child in the family, they show their affection a lot. And also we show it through body language. All right, very good. Thank you guys. So you can see we have like the common theme that Colombians can be very intense with their emotions, right? Affectionate, loving, very happy and celebrating, but also we can go in a negative aspect like using bad words or shouting in some situations. Okay, so this is interesting to analyze or to see because in different cultures people behave very differently, right? They have a set of rules and accepted behaviors. Okay, so sometimes this can be shocking when we go to different cultures and see that maybe our behavior is not seen as normal, right? As the part of the regular behavior. So this is what happened to this person in the text. This is what we're going to discuss and we're going to read about. So before we read, we're going to check some vocabulary that is included in the text. This text has a lot of new vocabulary, so it's important for us to study it before, so the text is clearer when we read it, okay? So let's start reading the vocabulary. So, for example, Andres, you can read the first 3 words for me. Emerge from, in store, and sweltering. Okay, Andres. Andres. Hello. Not here. Carlos, can you read the first 3 words, please?
Yes, teacher.
Mhm.
First one, to
Mhm.
appear by coming out of something, out from making something. Example, when they back door closed, she emerged from her room
Mhm.
in a store. Comment in the future about to happen. And sweltering, very hot and humid.
Yes. So we have emerge from, to come out, appear from behind of something, right? Emerge from. We have also the phrase in store. So something coming in the future. I have this in store. It means that it's coming in the future. It will happen soon in the future, okay? It's about to happen. And the word sweltering, it refers to the weather is very hot and very humid. Sweltering heat. Yes, Julian?
Could you give us an example, teacher, with an insert, please?
With the in store, the second one?
Yes, the second one.
Okay, so you can say, I have very, okay, I will write as an example. Okay, I didn't know what the trip had in store for me. Okay, so I didn't know what was going to come at me in the future, what was going to happen to me in the future. Okay, how can you say this in Spanish? Or how can we understand a little bit better?
Depara.
Yes, no sabía lo que este viaje depararía o en qué depararía o como qué tendría guardado para mí. To have in store. Literally is like to have tener algo guardado para alguien, okay? Something coming in the future or something that is about to happen. Sweltering. Then we have is in Spanish we say like sofocante, calor sofocante. Sweltering hot weather, okay? Then we have the word grasp. I can grasp this topic, understand it, okay? In the context of the text is to understand. Grasp can also be like to take something, okay? Tiene otros significados, but in the text is to understand. When we say to slam the door, is to shut a door loudly and violently, as you can see here in the picture. Slam the door, okay? This strained smile. This is a false smile which hides a negative feeling. As you can see here, the famous meme, right? He's like a false fake smile, but maybe he has some negative feelings behind it, right? How can you say this in Spanish? Strange smile.
Como una sonrisa postiza o una
Yes.
falsa sonrisa.
Falsa, forzada, forzosa. Yes.
Fingida.
Fingida. Yes. Strange smile. Okay. To sulk. What is to sulk? To be in a bad mood because you can't get what you want. So this child here is sulking. Okay. You can see. I don't know the word exactly in Spanish. How can you say
Berrinche.
this? Not exactly. Yes, como enfadarse. Here in the translator, there's a word. I don't know if you know it. Enfurruñarse, like this, okay? Not, no es un berrinche. Un berrinche es estruendoso, escandaloso. This is like the picture, right? Like to be mad because you cannot get what you want, okay? You are in a bad mood. Okay, then we have two words that are very similar in meaning. To whinge or whinging is to complain persistently or in a bad way, irritating way, okay? To whinge, quejarse, okay? Complain persistently. And to whine is also complaining or maybe crying is also called to whine, quejarse, okay? To complain about something persistently in an irritating way, okay? These are used, they can be used in a sentence together. You can see in the text, we're going to see these words together, whinging and whining, okay? They have a very similar meaning. All right, so this is the first part. Now let's see the next part of the vocabulary. We have to shape. To shape is to influence the way that a person or a situation or an idea develops, okay? I shape your idea. I shape this situation, so I have some influence over that person, that idea, or that situation, okay? Okay, yes, you have the slide, the previous slide.
Alrighty, Tish.
Okay, very good. Then we have to shape. So how can you say this word, the verb to shape? Maybe moldear, dar forma, okay? This is the meaning, to shape. Then we have slanging. What is this? Slanging. To attack with angry or uncontrolled language at someone. The players started slanging each other in the middle of the game. Okay? Like attacking another person with angry words, a high volume on your tone of voice, all of this, okay? So this is in the expression a slanging match. We can say a slanging match is a prolonged exchange of insults, okay? As you can see in the picture, they are in a slanging match. They conducted a public slanging match, okay? This is what it means. To make up. To make up is to forgive someone and be friendly with them after an argument or a disagreement. Makeup has all other meanings. For example, what you put on your face, women, like lipstick and blush, all of this is called makeup. But in this context, the verb to make up is to forgive someone and be friendly with them again after you fought, you had an argument or a disagreement, okay? So we say they kissed and made up as usual, okay? Like reconcile, more reconciliación, okay? This is to make up. All right. Okay, and this is the last part of the vocabulary before we read. We have the phrase, to lose your cool. What is to lose your cool? To fail to maintain a calm and controlled attitude. Okay? So when you, in Spanish, we can say like perder los estribos, right? To lose your cool. Yes. Okay, lose your cool. As you can see in the picture right here, he's losing his cool. Okay, when something is counterproductive. This is similar word in Spanish. When something has the opposite of the desired effect, okay? Contraproducente, this is counterproductive. Subtly, when this pronunciation is very tricky because it's not B, we don't say subtly, subtly, okay? We pronounce it without the B, subtly. In a manner that is delicate or precise, that is difficult to analyze, okay? Is indirect, is in a subtle way, okay? Subtly. And then we have a phrase. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Okay, what is this? When you, this refers to the importance of adapting yourself to the customs of the people that surround you, okay? So if you visit new places, certain cultures that are different from yours, you must adapt and try to behave as they do, okay? Do you know any phrase in Spanish that has a similar meaning? When in Rome, do as the Romans do. You can see the dog here. No? No idea? A phrase that is similar to this?
No,
I don't know if you have heard it. A donde fueses, haz lo que vieres. Yes? Have you heard this? This is the meaning, the same meaning, right? So if you go to a different place, another culture, you have to adapt and try to behave like they do, okay? Then the other next two we have to be frowned on. Frown is this when you move your eyebrows like this. This is to frown, okay? So when something is frowned on is not approved, okay? So when you disapprove of something or you think this is bad, this is frowned on, okay? And finally, we have to bottle up, phrasal verb, to bottle up. Refers to feelings, so to keep your feelings or emotions inside, so you don't speak, right? You keep them inside instead of expressing them, okay? As you can see here. So don't bottle up your sadness, your stress, your anger, okay? So don't keep those feelings inside, but express them, okay? All right, so as you can see, we have many new words here, but now we're going to read and answer some questions about the text, all right? Let's start reading. Expressing emotions across the world. Let's see. Lisette, can you start with the first paragraph, please?
Okay, teacher. Quite a few years ago, I took my first trip to Thailand to visit my boyfriend's family. I emerged from the airport to be greeted by a wall of heat unlike anything my pale English skin had ever experienced before. But that wasn't the only shock in store for me. After 20 minutes or so in the sweltering sun, I started to complain. The flight had been exhausting. My feet were aching Ashamed?
Aching.
Aching? Okay.
Mhm.
We're aching and so on. Quite suddenly, my boyfriend stopped me. It is not acceptable to show your emotions like that, he whispered. You should try to smile. I thought he was joking at first, but I soon realized he wasn't. In Thailand, the land of smiles, people go out of their way to put on a happy face for reasons I hadn't yet appreciated.
Thank you, very good. Okay, let's continue reading. Second paragraph, let's hear Johan. Ever since that trip,
Ever since that trip, I have been trying to learn I can about how people express emotion in different cultures and how those cultures shape what we feel. What you felt to grasp those years ago is that negative tend to be taboo in Thailand. The happiness of the group is put above that of the individual and one person's feelings and sense as closely to those of others. For that reason, my public winning was potentially offensive.
okay, very good, yes. Potentially offensive. Okay, continue reading Elkin. Now paragraph number 3.
Okay. It's not just complaining, which is taboo. In collective cultures like Thailand's, people who publicly express anger are seen as rude and unsophisticated. In more individualistic cultures like Europe or the USA, it is really relative common for friends and partners to have a brief slanging match, slam the door, and then make up without too much harm being done. Anger has even been shown to be a successful
Negotiating.
negotiating strategy in business. In collective cultures, though, to losing your cool is definitely counterproductive.
Is definitely counterproductive. Okay, thank you. Next paragraph, let's hear Gerson. This is not to say.
Okay, teacher. This is not to say that you can express negative emotion in Thailand. You simply do it much more subtly. Spend a bit of time in the country and you become aware of the myriad of different ways that you can smile. There is the I don't trust you smile. That is a silly suggestion smile. The smile of genuine warmth and affection, and many other besides. I vividly remember a strange place. Don't ever do that again smile for my boyfriend's mother when I read my feet on a child. Showing the soles of your feet is extremely rude in Thailand.
Very good, in Thailand. Continue reading Natalia, please. Emoticons.
Okay, teacher. Emoticon give further clues to the difference. In the USA and Europe, people tend to use the move to indicate an emotion. For example, uh, means happy and means sad, while in Asia, carry these meanings, showing that the emotions conveyed by the eyes is much more important.
Very good. Sylvia, please continue with the last one.
Wait, teacher. Personally speaking, I think of myself as a quiet and emotional person. I tend to get upset, sulk, and or laugh hysterically, depending on the situation. I can also be cynical, sarcastic, and argumentative. I try to tone down my behavior in Thailand, when in Rome, as the saying goes. But it is not always easy, and I often get the feeling that people find me too volatile.
Volatile.
Volatile. However, what seems overly emotional to one person can seem reserved to another. A flatmate from Italy used to tell me how uptight I was because I didn't gesticulate, gesticulate and gesticulate and showed with the same carefree abandon that he did. So what's the truth? Is there a right way to behave, whichever culture you come from? Let me know your thoughts and experiences.
Thank you. Very good. All right, guys. So as you can see, the text has a lot of new words and vocabulary that most of it we already checked previously. Okay, so we have treating or talking about the topic of emotion in different cultures and how it can change from one country to the other, right? So now you can read the article individually one more time, and you're going to answer the questions in point 3, okay? So you're going to decide, we have 3 statements from the 8 that are not true, okay? So you're going to read again and underline evidence in the article to support your answers. So if you say that number 4 is false, you have to find it in the text to support that answer, all right? So you're going to have some time to do that. I think around 5 to 10 minutes. You can read the text again. If you have any further questions about a vocabulary, please let me know, okay? I think there are some words that we didn't check, so if you have questions, let me know on the chat, all right? Okay, remember, point 3. Okay, guys, remember to let me know when you are ready to check the answers in part 3, okay? All right, guys, are you ready? You have your answers? Or do you need
Wait,
a little?
teacher.
Okay, a little more time. Okay, guys, ready?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. So let's correct the answers. So let's start. I will ask you to read the statement. You can tell me if it's true or if it is false. Then you tell me what part in the text did you find the evidence to say that it was false, okay? So let's start with Julian, for number 1. Can you read the sentence number 1 and then tell me if it's true or false?
The author was surprised at what her boyfriend said. Is true.
Yes, this is true. Number 1 is true. Very good. Magali, please, number 2. Read number 2.
Number 2, teacher, let me check. It is not acceptable to show your emotion like that.
Okay, but sorry. Read the sentence and tell me if you wrote it's true or false.
Okay, the sentence, say people make a great effort to smile, is true.
It's true. And you told me
The evidence is it's not acceptable to show your emotions like that. You should try to smile.
Good. And we have also here, Thailand, the land of smiles. People go out of their way to put on a happy face. Okay, thank you, Maveli. Very good. Continue, Jose. Number 3. Jose? It's not here. I think it's not connected. Okay. Let's see. Yes, Jose? Okay, you can try disconnect, yes, and come back. You can try that. Okay, let's see, Carlos. So number 3, please read it, and then you answer. True or false?
Yes, teacher. In countries such as Thailand, the individual is more important than the group. For me, is false.
And where did you find that evidence
Yes,
for
teacher. The
that?
happiness of the group is good above that of the individual, and one person's feelings are seen as closely linked to those of others.
Yes, very good. So it is false. Number 3, it's false because in Thailand, the group is more important than the individual. Okay, thank you, Carlos. Very good. Let's see, Elkin, number 5. Sorry, 4. Elkin? No, I cannot hear you.
Hi, teacher.
Okay.
Teacher.
Yes, now I can hear you.
My microphone. Okay, 4. In Europe and the USA, getting angry is acceptable in certain situations. For me, is true.
And what is the evidence?
Because and the final, the paragraph says, anger has been shown to be a successful negotiation strategy in business.
Okay, yeah, the answer is true, but I don't think that's the reason. It says Europe and USA getting angry is acceptable. Enojarse es aceptable. So we have, for example, here in this paragraph, in more cultures like Europe or USA, it's common to friends to argue, slam the door, and make up without too much harm. Okay? So here, all of this. Okay, anger has been shown to be a successful negotiating strategy in business. Yes, it can also be. I think it starts here, okay? The reason starts before. Thank you, Elkin.
Okay,
Yes,
teacher.
it was true. Continue, Natalia, for number 5.
Okay, teacher number 5. Thai people never express negative emotions. I think it's false because in the fourth paragraph, let me say, this is not to say that you can express negative emotion in Thailand. You simply do it much more subtly.
Yes, you said what paragraph? 4?
4, teacher.
Over here.
Uh,
Where
4.
is it?
Yes, yes, this
1,
is not
2,
to
3.
say.
Okay, 4. Yes. Yes, here it is. So it's false because it's not that they can't show emotion, but they can do it subtly, okay? In a more indirect way. Very good. This is number 5. Okay, number 6. Let's see, for example, Silvia.
Yes, teacher. Number 6. The author controls her emotional behavior in Thailand. I think it's true because in the last paragraph, she said, I tried to tone down my behavior in Thailand. When in Rome, at the same goals, and the same goals.
It's true. Number 6, it's true. Thank you, Silvia. Now, Yesid, number 7.
Teacher number 7. Say her Italian playmate found her reserved. Wait. It's false, teacher.
Okay. Why?
Because in the last test, in the last, saying a flight wrong, Italy use it to tell. Sorry, okay, sorry. Her playmate from the Italian tell tell her how flight.
Uptight she was. Okay.
Okay,
She
teacher.
didn't gesticulate. So it's false? No, actually,
No.
it's true. Reserved. What is to be reserved? It's similar to being uptight. Okay. How can you say this word uptight in Spanish? Do you know anyone? Uptight. To be uptight.
Not teacher.
We can say in Spanish maybe tenso, como, what is the word? Exactly. Yes, tenso, nervioso, como recatado, okay? Alguien que no se
Rígido.
relaja. Eso, yes. Someone that cannot relax. It's not like open and happy and laughing, but it's like more reserved, maybe more serious. Okay, this is uptight. So actually, the Italian, can you imagine? Imagine an English person, so from England, living with an Italian. Generally, we know that Italians are more expressive with their emotions. They yell and they speak with their hands and all of this. So, of course, an English person would look uptight or more serious next to an Italian, right? English people generally speak with a tone of voice that is a bit lower and more reserved. Okay? So it all depends on the culture, how they are perceived in different ways. All right, guys, very good. We are not going to do the last one, number 8, because we didn't read all the comments. We didn't have enough time to read all the comments. But do not worry. We're going to stop with the reading here. I think we covered the most important part, which was the vocabulary and the comprehension of the text. We don't have enough time to do all the exercise and the discussion, but we are going to work on the task on Unit 12, okay? I think it's quite interesting, and you can have, it's going to be interesting for you doing this task in groups. It's about stories. You're going to describe a story that provokes strong emotions in you, okay? So this is the task. So let's focus the last 45 minutes of the class on the task, pages 22 and 23, okay? So you can open your books in this part, and we're going to read or do part of the preparation. Then I will explain what you have to do in the test, okay? So let's check here. We have some aspects here or features that are important in a story. So depending on the type of stories that you like, that you prefer, you can think about what is the most important, okay? So imagine if you like romantic stories, if you like scary, horror stories, suspense, motivational, it all depends on the type of story that you like. So in here, the answers are individual, okay? There are no right or wrong answers because it's personal. So you're going to tick the aspects that you think are the most important in a story, okay? For example, the characters are convincing and you care about the characters, okay? A lot of suspense and tension. It is full of action and it moves fast, okay? There are clever plot twists. For example, in the type of stories that I like, I consider this to be very important, that has a plot twist, right? Un giro en la trama, like you don't expect this is going to happen, okay? Also, I prefer stories like science fiction, imaginary worlds. I love, for example, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, all of these stories. I don't really, I don't really like to watch like true. Well, I do like it, but I prefer science fiction. Okay, so for other people, it might be more important that the story is realistic and true to real life. Okay. So I want you to read all the aspects and tick the ones that you believe are more important, okay? You can tick 2, 3, 4, 5, how many you like. Of course, not all of them, because some of them are contrary, right? Algunos son contrarios, entonces no los podemos señalar todos. Okay, so I'll give you some time to check them, and then I will ask some of you. Because we have the aspects, also says, think a good example of each feature from a story you know. So this is what I did. Remember, I told you, it allows you to escape into an imaginary world. For example, Lord of the Rings, okay? So this is a good example of this type of stories. When I say the ending makes you cry, for example, what story? I don't know. Oh, I forgot.
Hachiko.
Hachiko, yes. Yes, so if this is important to you, you tick it and then you give me an example, okay? So let's do it and then we share. Okay, guys, are you ready? You have your answers?
No, teacher.
Okay, another minute. Okay, let's start. So any volunteer that would like to share his or her answers, you can raise your hand. No volunteers? Okay, so let's call someone. Let's see, for example, Lisette. Oops.
Okay.
Okay, so tell me what aspects are important for you?
Okay. The first, it allows you to escape into an imaginary world. I think it's an interesting because it let your imagination fly.
Okay.
And my example is Harry Potter movies.
Okay, of course.
And the second, it convincingly recreates a period of history or a particular way of life. And my example is the movie Pride and Prejudice.
Okay, yes, I love this movie. Yes.
Yes, absolutely incredible movie.
Yes.
And the other one, the ending makes you cry. I choose the Notebook. I don't know, but I watch and watch it again, and I cry all the time.
You cried.
Yes.
You cried all the time. Okay, very good. Thank you, Lisette. Excellent. Let's hear an opinion from another student, maybe Jose. Okay, let's see. Jose? No, I think your microphone is not working. Madeline, I saw your hand up.
Okay, teacher, I choose 4 option.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. This?
No.
Ah,
Okay.
4 things. Okay, yeah, I see. So you can tell me which ones.
The first, the characters are convincing and you really care about them. My example is Titanic.
Okay. You feel worried for the characters. Yes.
Yes. And point number 3, it's full of action and moves at a fast pace.
My example is Fast and Furious.
Okay. I don't like these movies, but okay, yes, they are full of action. They go
Yeah.
very fast. Mhm.
Okay, the next is it allows you to escape into an imaginary world.
Mhm.
The example is Alice in Wonderland Paradise.
Mhm.
And the
Yes.
last, and the ending makes you cry. My example is The Lovely Ones.
The Lovely Ones. I don't know this. Is this a movie?
No.
Lo Lovely Ones is the name of the movie, or what is this? TV series?
It's a film, a movie.
No, okay. I see. I understand. All right. Yes, it's a sad movie with a sad ending. All right. Thank you, guys. Excellent. So you can see we have different types of stories, and we all like them because they of different reasons. Okay. So before we do our description, we're going to listen to part of the narration of a description of one of these stories. So we have The Telltale Heart and we have the movie Les Miserables. We're going to listen the description for Les Miserables, okay? Not the first part because the audio is very long, it's 8 minutes long. We're going to listen to the last description, okay? Do not worry about the questions. We are not going to answer them. I just want you to listen to it so you can have an example on how to do your own description. So we're going to listen to it and then you will work in groups to write and write your descriptions, okay? And do them. So let's listen.
Unit 2, Recording 4. Above where the body is hidden, beating, coming up from beneath the floorboards, and it's getting more stand why the policeman can't night.
Okay, we're going to pay attention to story B. So it's the second part, okay?
Story B.
One of my favourite stories is Les Miserables. I've seen the film and the musical several times, and I'm always in floods of tears by the end because it's so tragic and so moving. It's based on the book by the French writer Victor Hugo, which I must admit I haven't actually read because it's extremely long. Anyway, it's set in France at the beginning of the 19th century, and it concerns the situation of the poor, and particularly the way the criminal justice system treats them. It's a very long story, with several subplots which are too complicated to go into, but the main thread of the plot concerns an ex-convict called Valjean, and the story opens as he is released from prison after serving 19 years for stealing a loaf of bread. In prison, he has been mistreated by a law enforcement officer called Javert, who appears and reappears throughout the story, pursuing him wherever he goes. Valjean is taken in by a kindly local bishop, and despite the fact that Valjean steals from him, the bishop treats him with trust, gives him some silver, and makes him promise to reform. Thanks to this kindness, Valjean rises to become a factory owner and the mayor of a local town. However, he changes his identity in order to hide his criminal past. Meanwhile, a fallen woman called Fantine comes to work at Valjean's factory. She has an illegitimate daughter called Cosette, who she can't afford to look after and has to send away to live with a family who treat the little girl like a slave. To make matters worse, Fantine loses her job at the factory, and when she defends herself against a man who attacks her, she is arrested by the law enforcement officer Javert. Eventually, she dies heartbroken. Javert also recognizes Valjean, who he wants to arrest for assuming a false identity, but Valjean escapes and goes off to rescue Fantine's daughter, Cosette. So, Valjean adopts Cosette as his daughter and they move to Paris. There, the now grown-up Cosette falls in love with a wealthy law student called Marius, who is part of a radical group campaigning for democracy and justice for the poor. There are many more complicated subplots, and Javert continues to pursue Valjean, but anyway, the story culminates in an uprising against the government, which ends in failure and in the death of many brave young men who have been fighting for justice. In the course of all this, Valjean saves Javert's life. However, Javert, in turmoil over his failure to capture Valjean and Valjean's compassion towards him, commits suicide. During the uprising, Valjean also saves Marius, who, once recovered, marries Cosette. However, all is not well, as Valjean, after admitting his criminal past to Marius, goes into hiding from the law, leaving Cosette in distress. Eventually, Marius realizes that Valjean saved his life, so he takes Cosette to see the dying Valjean, and they are finally reunited on his deathbed, where the story ends. The whole story just fills you with this huge sense of injustice and despair at the way poor people just cannot escape their past or fight the system, which is completely against them. Certain moments in the story, like Fantine's death, are just heartbreaking. But at the same time, certain parts of it are very uplifting, like when the bishop helps Valjean at the beginning, or the idealism of the students in the uprising. The songs in the musical and film are also amazing, and the story never fails to move me.
All right. So, as you can see, we have a bit of a long narration of the story. The person gives us some details, gives us the setting. So, what is the name of the story? When it is set, what time, in what place, what kind of a story is it, okay? And she gives some details about her story. And finally, she talks about how the story makes her feel. She said that moves her, like me conmueve, right? She said that she cries in some scenes in the movie, etc. Okay? So this is what you're going to do in the last part of the class. In groups, I will give you a certain topic, okay? So I will show you the topics, and you're going to choose one story in your group. For example, I tell you a story that makes you cry, okay? So you can choose a movie or a book, even if you want, any type of a story that makes you cry, okay? So you have to introduce the story. You can use the vocabulary that is here. It is set in, it tells the story of, then you're going to describe the story. So the main event of the story, how it begins, and finally, you're going to describe how this story makes you feel, okay? It makes you laugh. It has a heartwarming, como, es conmovedor, heartwarming, heartbreaking, okay? Te rompe el corazón, uplifting. So use adjectives to describe how this story makes you feel, okay? And then you can decide if you want to include the ending of the story or not, okay? Ustedes deciden si incluyen el final de la historia o no, okay? You can include it or not in your narrations, in your descriptions, okay? So, oops, let's see. Sorry. So you can use the useful language vocabulary to help you and write your descriptions. Let's see here. Okay, this is the link. So we are going to have 4 groups in total, around 3 or 4 students per group. So the first group has to describe, to narrate a story that makes you laugh, okay? Comedy that makes you laugh, okay? Then the second group will have to talk about a scary or unnerving story, okay? Scary. Then number 3, you will talk about a movie that moves you, que te conmueve, or that makes you cry, okay? And finally, the last group will have to talk about a story that is thought-provoking, okay? It can be documentaries, any movie that you think has a message to think about these aspects, right? Que, ¿cómo se diría? Thought-provoking. Like, que te llevan a analizar, a pensar, okay? For example, movies like Interstellar, such as this, okay? So we are going to have 4 groups. The descriptions that you're going to do have to include the introduction, so the name, where it is set, entonces donde se ubica en tiempo y espacio esta historia, description of the characters, important events mainly, and how this story makes you feel, okay? And of course, you're going to include a picture. So we have around 15 minutes to do it, 15, 20 minutes. So do you have any questions about the activity, what we have to do here? Okay, no? Guys, do not follow these steps because it's very long. Just follow the instructions that I included in the slide, okay? All right, questions before we start working?
No, teacher.
Okay, good. So let me create the groups. Anyone is connected from 2 devices? Carlos, yes. I already saw here. Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Mhm. All right, you can go to the breakout rooms. Hello, Silvia. You join the breakout room, please.
exist.
I teacher is a new history. Hello, teacher.
No. It's you describe any story. You don't have to invent the story. No. You have to choose a story that you all know and describe that. Okay? It's not new story.
It's a shoes, only shoes.
Yes, choose a movie or a book that you are all familiar with so you can all describe it. Okay?
Okay, teacher. Idea about one is history.
I'm sharing website.
Decía niña por una enfermedad.
What?
I don't remember the name of the boy. There is a woman that looks like a girl.
The orphan.
Yes.
Yes. Talking about the orphan. La huérfana, yes.
Yes, teacher. I don't know.
Well, I haven't seen that movie. I don't know. But
You have the scary story?
yes, teacher.
Okay. You have to think about different movies. I don't know, like the El Aro or maybe I don't know. Talk about different movies and then you choose one that you have all seen, okay? So that you are all familiar with this movie. Okay?
The slide side unnerving.
Unnerving, yes, like suspense also. It can be either a horror movie or suspense. Unnerving es como que te genera nervios. Yeah, series also.
For example, you see tickets, maybe.
Can you repeat? I didn't hear.
Yes, teacher. Tickets, series.
I'm sorry, it's cutting off. I don't know if you can, Lisette and Jeanette, you
Yes,
can understand.
Vikings.
Vikings.
Vikings, okay.
You mean Vikings? Oh, Vikings. You think it's like suspense?
Suspense, no, that maybe unnerving, maybe, but.
Okay, it can be. Another unnerving can be, I don't know, like mystery things, all of this. Okay, I'll give you time to talk. I will go to other groups.
Okay, teacher.
Teacher, sorry, my internet is
It's not working very
Yes.
well. Okay, I will put you in the breakout room one more time.
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Colocar, digamos, la experiencia mía, my experience, because my first and my last time that when I saw that movie was when I was shot. So
Okay, perfect.
yes, okay.
I make a description. Okay.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Gabriel Mushino. It tells the Chris Gardner. It tells the history of Chris Gardner
and his son.
Okay, guys, remember, history is for wars, events. Story is for movies, books, etc. Okay? So you don't say the history of. It tells the story of. Okay?
Okay.
It's different.
Sorry, if the story is story of life or real life, history or
For example,
story?
as a movie based on World War II, it's history, okay? But if it's movie about your life, even if it's real, it's a story, okay?
Story.
Okay,
So-
that in that case is story.
Okay.
Story. Story. It says the story of Chris Gardner.
Christopher. Who are interpreted.
Teacher, what is the best word to say interpreter or
interpreted or played?
Played.
Okay.
Played by or interpreted by?
Like that? Played. Plate.
Played. Yes.
Okay. Interpreted by Will Smith and Jaden.
Jaden. Sí, Jaden.
Yes. Okay.
Which one? What is the set?
The set is
Kidnapping.
Right.
It makes you love love.
Undercover. To solve a kidnapping case. Kidnapping case. We can use overcome. And overcome. We call challenge that come with their guards customs. Customs, ¿será que eso se puede usar?
Yes, disfraces, costumes.
Their gear customs. O sea, esta teacher.
Yes.
Ah, you can see the slide, excuse me.
I am reading the slide. Yes, I'm on your slide reading it.
Okay. We have introduction, name. Okay, name. Where is it set? Description, the second. Main character.
H. Shelter.
¿Así?
A shelter, yes.
Okay.
Um, we can say the story opens as as Mallory found out she was pregnant.
¿Cómo? As Mallory.
Found out.
¿Así?
Out. Not up. Out. Yeah, she was pregnant.
Correct. Correct.
Sorry guys, can I send my part and you can like paste on the slide?
Okay. The maker process reset. Okay.
But the history, I think, was in San Francisco, California.
San
I was
Francisco.
checking. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. It's a thought-provoking story. The set in San Francisco, California. Yes.
Yes, because okay, yeah,
Yes.
I remember.
And also we can put that inspired by the real life experience. Yes, that inspired by the real life, or that was inspired by the real life experience of Chris Gardner. That was inspired by the real life, yes, experience of Chris Gardner.
Uy, ¿quién fue el que hizo eso?
Why? Me.
Está pleno.
In English, please.
It's so cool. The way that you use in this picture is the form.
Those. Yes.
Yes, I think it can work. And before she flees to a house, we can put the tension builds up when she the tension builds up
All right, I think everyone is back in the meeting. We're all connecting again. Tell me, guys, did you finish? Did you manage to finish all your descriptions? I think the first group did finish. Number 3 also. I'm not sure if the groups 2 and 4 finished. Well, do not worry, guys. You can finish during the weekend. We will share your descriptions on Monday. So be ready when we start the class. I will project your presentations and all of you must participate in the descriptions, okay? Each student will have a part so you can distribute each part. Be prepared before the class so you can text through WhatsApp. So for example, in the first group, Mabeli will tell the introduction, Elkin the first paragraph, the second, the third, etc. Okay, so I need you to be coordinated before the class. So when we start on Monday, you are ready to present it, okay?
Okay, teacher.
All right, guys. Excellent. Thank you. I will see you next week. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye. See you.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Bye,
Have a nice
teacher.
day.
Bye-bye, guys.